Hi, Sue the Power Seller here, and in this video we have a very robust video on how to handle objections from customers at your car dealership. We're going to discuss what you can say to the 3 most common objections your customers will throw at you. But first, if you've not yet subscribed to my videos, I invite you to hit the subscribe button on your screen. You'll be notified the next time I make one. Handling objections is one of the scariest dynamics of selling cars. They ask a question and you think, what do I say to that? And it's terrifying because so many of us feel humiliated if we have to say, I don't know, or worse yet, if we have to bother the boss. Because when you're new especially, you want to come across as competent and confident. Now, there are more objections than these, of course, but here are the most common. And if you know of any others, because there's tons of them, just leave a comment below on your favorite or most frequently encountered objection and tell us how you handle it. We're all in this together. Well, in this session, you're going to learn how to respond to what I have found to be the 3 most common objections from your customer on a car lot. Now, before we begin, your boss should already have trained you thoroughly on how to anticipate specific objections and how to answer them. But if you weren't trained, and I know a lot of you have received training which was lousy to say the least, then here are the most common objections, and that should help you a whole lot. Here they are. Number 1. I need to think about it. Let's talk about this objection. I need to think about it. Now, this is annoying, especially when someone has been shown everything they need in order to make a buying decision. And the more you familiarize yourself on closing, on dialoguing with the customer, and on finding out their needs, the less likely you are to hear this one. But I need to think about it is something I hear a whole lot. And in the beginning, you might hear it more often than you do as you're going about your sales job in the future. I think it's the most commonly asked question, but if you get it all the time and everyone's asking it, it could be you weren't trained well or you need practice, but it is a very common question. So if you know that your training's good and you're solid, you've had some sales under your belt, don't worry about that. But if you think that you're getting this question too many times, just check out my training videos and practice doing mock selling sessions with your friends. But still, even with great training, you are going to hear this sometimes. It's the number 1 objection, I think. It's, I need to think about it. Okay? And people that aren't really good at sales get this a lot because they can kind of sense in you that you aren't really going to push for the sale. You're not going to hold them accountable for taking up your time. You're not going to pursue the reality that they really probably do need a car and you know it. And you're not going to confront that question with, why not now? Why don't you want to do it now? But still, even with great training, you are going to hear this sometimes. And I still think that's the most commonly asked objection. So, commonly stated one. So what do you do? What do you do when you've already matched them with a car and you know they have the money because you screen for these things in a discreet way when you're talking with them? You know it's in their budget. You know they like it, but they're still like, I don't know. Well, there are so many things to say to this. First, let's make sure that there isn't a car which might better fit their needs. It could be that they just didn't look at the right one. But there could be another reason, and we're going to go to that right now, and that's making sure that there isn't a spouse that they need to talk to first. So let's go to that. Let's go to that right now. Please do not do this. Do not say to somebody that's a guy, so what's wrong with you, buddy? Do you need your wife to put on your big boy pants for you and make the decision? I can promise you that if you say that to someone, you're going to drive them away. And so many people do say that. And you don't ever want to say those words. Because not to get all preachy here, but marriage is a partnership. And frankly, husbands and wives should include one another on major purchases. So just understand this and say, listen, I understand. How about I give you a vacation for 2 to the Bahamas? Take it over, look at it with your wife, bring her here with you, and if she agrees, buy the car. You buy the car, you get a vacation thrown in. This is probably a good time to tell you that 85% of the time, statistics have shown this. When you get a tire kicker, or it's not a tire kicker, it's just someone that says, hey, I need to bring my wife in, 85% of the time, if you give them a vacation, they'll just go ahead and close. Now, if they need to bring their wife with them, I really think their wife should look at the car. I'm old school, but I know a lot of you are just going to be like, cool, buy now, ask later. Here's your vacation. You have a car. Bada bing, bada boom. But that's just my counsel. If you get that objection, I need to talk with my spouse first. Please let them talk with their spouse first. Okay, so that's the second reason. We've got, I need to think about it. I need to talk with my spouse. But let's talk about the third objection, and that's what to do if the price is too high. Now, first, you need to ask them what their budget is, and then see if there isn't a car they might test drive, which I already talked to you about, that better fits their finances. Maybe the first objection, I have to think about it, the car didn't fit their needs, but it could also be it doesn't fit their budget. So if you can see they just want a deal, maybe it is in their budget, and they're kind of, I don't want to say playing with you, but they're milking it, right? Well, you just need to check with your manager. He or she is the one that can really get the price down for you on what the choke point is for the company. That's the point where the big boss is like, I can't go that low. So you need to kind of correspond with your boss before and even during the negotiations. Now, with the price thing, let's say you go to your boss and your boss is like, that is the lowest I can go. And now you go to your customer and you're like, I just don't know if I want to pay that amount of money, and it's the lowest you can go. Don't play some game with them where you say, okay, fine, and you make them walk off the lot, and you call them back and offer them $5 less. Instead, just say, hey, would it make a difference if I threw in a cruise for two to the Bahamas? And again, that is the number one way people use these vacations, is as a closing tool. So what I'm offering today for all of you that have trouble with objections, maybe you're going to run into some objections and you say everything right and they still are just like, no. This is a powerful, powerful ace in your hand. It's a lead magnet. It's also a closing incentive. It's just a high quality vacation. And today I'm offering you a free quality, not a timeshare, none of that crap. I don't do that. It's a really good vacation you can give your people. Click on the link. And then I want you to come back in the comment section and really tell me how that worked for you. Well, that's all for now. This has been Sue the Power Seller, and I hope to see you on the winning side. Take care.